Welcome to the Royal Daily Tea YouTube channel. Please be advised all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only, based 100% on my own opinion, my own theories, and my own research. All of my information can be found on the public domain and falls under the fair use guidelines. Please feel free to do your own research. Hi everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. Hope everyone is having a lovely week so far. So I mentioned in a couple of my videos previously that I was going to appear on a show, the Rick Amato show, who is based out of San Diego. The show came out, guys. I think it came out pretty well, even though I felt extremely awkward and did a couple of these air quotes, but I think the way that he edited the video, you couldn't really see the air quotes, thank God, because it looked bad. But if you're interested in seeing the interview, I have it linked on my community page, but I will also have it linked for you below. So guys, we have a lot of juicy tea to get through today, so sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So one of the biggest stories that is circulating right now is the new excerpt from Valentine Low's book, The Royal Correspondent for the London Times. He has a brand new book called The Courtiers, The Power Behind the Throne, that is coming out next month in the UK. Now, Valentine Low was one of the very first people to actually report that there were official complaints coming out against Meghan Markle for her bullying of her staff. Many people, of course, they were afraid to come out, but he was the one who reported on the story. So now there's more information coming out, the more examples of how Meghan Markle was kind of bullying her way into the palace even before she was married to Prince Harry. There's a story that 6 months before she was actually engaged, she told one of the junior advisors, you know, one day we both know I'm going to be your boss. Whew, wow. That's some crazy talk. It is reported that Meghan felt insulted when junior staff members would approach her. She only wanted to talk to the top level advisors. This was before she even had the ring on her finger, guys. Talk about being bold and confident. It is also rumored that Meghan was pushing Harry to make an official announcement and claim her as his girlfriend. And if he wouldn't do so publicly, she would dump him. And that Harry was reportedly frantic, saying that she's going to leave me, she's going to dump me. Again, Meghan Markle was feeding into his mommy abandonment issues. She really did have Prince Harry, in my opinion, wrapped around her little finger. So according to Valentine Low, Harry was nervous and afraid that Meghan was going to dump him if he didn't make this public proclamation. Now, if you remember, he came out with that message to the press saying, quote, leave my girlfriend alone, quit harassing my girlfriend. She's being chased by the paparazzi. And he made that official statement saying to, you know, leave her alone, which basically meant, hey, this is my woman, this is my girl. This was only like 5 or 6 months into the relationship where most people didn't even know he was in a relationship with her. So in my opinion, this was the example that Meghan was looking for, that he told the paparazzi, hey, leave my woman alone. He's now proclaiming her to be his girlfriend publicly. And supposedly this was one of the very first things that started to chip away at the relationship between the brothers, that Prince William reportedly was extremely upset that Prince Harry had made that public proclamation announcing for the press to leave his girlfriend alone. Now, at the time, we all know that there really was no paparazzi stalking Meghan. Once again, it was one of her fake, fabricated stories, because I feel that was how she could stronghold Harry into making a public statement about their relationship. The only way she could do so was to make Harry believe that she was a damsel in distress, she was a victim, just like his mom, and he had to protect her. Talk about a very manipulative woman. So another story that came out with Valentine Low was that when the Sussexes were on their royal tour of Australia, we've heard quite a few things about this tour, that she was heard saying, I can't believe we're not getting paid to do this. I can't believe we're not getting paid to be on this tour. What Meghan forgot is the $3 or $4 million a year that they were receiving as working royals, not to mention she had $1 million wardrobe, the most expensive wardrobe of all of the royals put together. So Meghan Markle had a lot of perks and privileges, but again, she was still complaining. So many people are beginning to ask the question, did Meghan Markle really go into this marriage wanting to modernize the monarchy, or was she simply there to monetize it? You know, she calls herself a feminist, that she had all these ideas of how she wanted to modernize the royal family. Well, in my opinion, her idea of modernizing the royal family was turning herself into a royal influencer, being the Instagram duchess that she wanted to be. You have to remember, she came from Hollywood, so she was treating the royal family and the firm like it was a PR agency that was at her beck and call. She also was trying to brand her title. I know, shocking. So if you remember when she did the interview for Cut magazine, her biggest complaint was, oh my gosh, they took my passport, I'm a prisoner. You know, I couldn't even check my own mail, and I had to share a social media account with the Cambridges, and I can't even manage it. They were put together with the Cambridges under Kensington Royal. Well, Meghan, being the type A control freak that she is, did not like that, so she started Sussex Royal. She was trying to brand herself again, not understanding she's a royal, she's not a brand, but again, she's trying to brand herself like she did the Teague, trying to become the social royal influencer with all of her freebies. Again, she clearly went into this with an agenda of becoming worldwide famous, rich, and she thought she was going to build a brand. Again, that's not what royals do. So when she went in there and found out that she couldn't answer her mail, she had to follow the rules, she wasn't going to get paid extra money to go on royal tours, she wasn't happy. And then she had to share a social media presence with the Cambridges. Well, we all know that certainly wasn't going to make her happy. So she went off and did Sussex Royal. She tried to trademark the name Sussex Royal. She wanted to sell t-shirts and mugs, completely wanted to brand it. Well, the Queen said no. She said you can't brand, you know, a title. A title is a gift. And Meghan famously reportedly had said, well, you don't own the name royal. So Her Majesty, you know, kiboshed it, but they ended up still keeping the social media presence as well as the website, just to focus on their own independent work, trying to separate themselves, you know, from the Cambridges, of course, because Meghan was trying to inflate herself above everyone else, even though she's technically behind them. So when Meghan Markle sat down a couple months ago to do her interview with Cut magazine, it's pretty clear that Meghan Markle has not let things go. In my opinion, Rachel Revenge Raglan has a bone to pick with the royals. She reminds me one of those people who just doesn't let things go, that she's playing the long game, and her revenge does not have an expiration date. She does look like a person who tends to hold a grudge. She let it known that she still has not forgiven her father. She's having a very hard time forgiving her father. I mean, this was in 2018, guys. This was 4 years ago. The man had a life-altering stroke, and she still can't find it in her heart to forgive her daddy for doing the little things that he did to improve his image. So you best believe she was not happy with Her Majesty the Queen for telling her no, that you can't monetize and brand Sussex Royal. And you're thinking to yourself, well, Michelle, I think you're wrong. Well, let's not forget that she named her daughter Lilibet Diana. And you're asking yourself, well, why is that a big deal? It is a big deal. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Supposedly, according to a royal source, Harry and Meghan did tell Her Majesty the Queen, we would like to name our daughter after you. So Her Majesty the Queen said, oh my gosh, that's lovely. Thank you so much. She's assuming that they're wanting to name their daughter Elizabeth, which is a beautiful name. They could have named their daughter Elizabeth Diana, which would have been a beautiful name. But no, they didn't name their daughter Elizabeth. They named her Lilibet. And we all know that Lilibet is a personal, private name that only Her Majesty's inner circle called her Lilibet, meaning her husband, her father, her sister, and very close confidants called her Lilibet. That was not a name that the public called her. They called her Elizabeth. So when they said, we're going to name our daughter after you, she assumed Elizabeth. Not to mention that Meghan and Harry have trademarked the name Lilibet and bought domains with Princess Lilibet, meaning Meghan Markle and Harry are going to monetize the name Lilibet. So talk about revenge and trying to get one over on Granny. To me, that was a slap in the face. That was an F you, Granny. That was not a sweet sentiment. Oh, we just love and adore her so much. We're going to name her Lilibet, and then we're going to throw in Diana for good measure because, you know, he's always got to monetize his mom. He's always got to monetize the memory of his poor, dear mother. I mean, ching, ching, all the way to the bank, right? I'm sorry. That's weird. Okay, this was 3 years later, but they still did it. Can you imagine how the royals felt when they were sitting there having their Cheerios and coffee over breakfast, reading the paper, and they say, oh, Harry and Meghan had their baby, and they named her Lilibet. Lilibet Diana, no less. I'm sure there were some teacups a-flying, right? And the staff was like, girl, oh my God, did you hear? Woo, Lord, those teacups were flying in that room. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that room. It gets even weirder. So their son, Archie, where did she come up with the name Archie? Was it from the comic book? No. You know where she got the name Archie? Prince George's nickname was Archie. His security name that he was known by, his security code, was Archie. They called him Archie, and they knew this, and so they decided to name their son Archie. Of all the names they could have chosen to name their son, they chose Archie. Now, do you not find that bizarre and weird? I call that, I'm not a professional doctor, but where I come from, that's called batshit crazy. That's single white female to the next freaking level. You have a woman who's so narcissistic and controlling and jealous and revengeful that she's going to take two family private names and steal those for both of her children's names, Archie and Lilibet, from a woman who claims that the institution was, quote, racist toward her, that she's fighting to give them royal titles, royal privilege, but then for good measure just steals family names. And nobody bats an eyelash and thinks that's weird and crazy. I'm sorry, that's single white female. I'm sorry, but Harry and Meghan are turning into the people who cry wolf, but it turns out that they're the wolf, in my opinion, right? I really do believe that Harry and Meghan believe they are the victims, but they're actually the perpetrators. So this whole thing is just bizarre with Harry and Meghan and their quest for financial freedom and wanting to get out of the royal life so bad, but it's like nobody's stopping you from leaving. It's like, have you ever gone on a date with someone who just got divorced and all they talk about is their ex the entire time? You're on the date and you're like, you're divorced, let's move on. Harry and Meghan are the only two who keep bringing up the fact that they used to be in the royal family. They haven't been a working member of the royal family since 2020, 2.5 years. The royal family has moved on. The people of the Commonwealth and the UK have moved on, but the only two people who clearly have not moved on are Harry and Meghan. If you're so happy and living your best life out in Montecito, you don't need to constantly bring up things that happened 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 years ago. Right? People, that's just not normal. So when she was in the Cut magazine article and she kept bringing up how she was a prisoner and she didn't have a passport and she couldn't open up her own mail and she couldn't, have her own social media account, and how she doesn't have an NDA and she's got a lot to say. It's like, really? You still going down that path, sis? Let it go. If you're so happy, focus on your future. No one's trying to keep you in the royal fold. You're free. Run. But Harry and Meghan didn't get the memo that we're done. You're good. Goodbye. Right? They're still holding on, and they're now suing the Home Office with 2 lawsuits. They're trying to call Dero Daddy and trying to get the HRH for Archie and Lilibet, the 2 children's names that they stole. Again, single white female, whatever. But in my opinion, Meghan is not going to let this go. Meghan is still mad that the royals didn't do what she wanted them to do, because Meghan is used to getting her way. She's a narcissist, in my opinion. So now she's going to bust out those secret journals and, give out some more secrets. But in my opinion, these are things that she thinks happened, because narcissists have a way of believing they're the victims, even though in a lot of cases they're actually the perpetrator and the bully and the abuser. But in their minds, they really do think they're justified in their actions. And I personally am beginning to believe that could be a little bit of Meghan. That's just my opinion, because she really does believe it. So another story that has come out was back in April when Harry and Meghan were on their way to the Netherlands, and they had that little stopover to see the Queen and Prince Charles at the time. They were running late. They were 15 minutes late for a very quick meeting with Prince Charles and Camilla. And supposedly Camilla and Charles were pissed because they had to go to an Easter service. I believe that, their time is very limited. Everything is regimented by the minute, by the hour. Everything is in their calendar. And Harry and Meghan were 15 minutes late. So that is why Charles only had 15 minutes to meet with Prince Harry. Now, supposedly during this meeting, Harry suggested to Prince Charles, we really need to work on our family dynamics here. We need to solve the problems of our relationship, and we're going to have to bring in this third party. Meghan thinks that we need to bring in this mediator to come in and fix our family problems. And Camilla laughed him out of the room and said, no, we do not need to do that, because the only way we're going to solve these problems is for you to take our names out your mouth, son. Shut your pie hole. Could you imagine the person who's causing all the problems in your family, in your life, who's bullying you, who's going out, just wreaking havoc, then says to you, we need to sit down with a third party person and solve the problem like you're the problem? Literally, Harry and Meghan think they're the victims again, and that they need a mediator to come in and talk to Charles and Camilla and solve the problem with the family. And Charles and Camilla were like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Right? So I can imagine that's why the meeting didn't go very well. It's not hard. Don't publicly talk about the family. Don't bring up drama in the press. How about killing your tell-all book? Quit doing TV interviews and magazine interviews where you're bringing out our family drama to the public. If you just shut your pie hole and kept our names out your mouth and moved on, like you said you wanted to do 2.5 years ago, we wouldn't have all of these problems. So I'm sure they found that hilarious that the 2 victims who were basically bullying everyone, who now want to sit down with counselors to solve their family problems. So I do feel bad for the royals, because dealing with people who are narcissistic it's really draining and it's really hard to get through because, again, a lot of them actually believe they're victims. They don't see 2 feet in front of their face. They live in a very weird bubble. And in my opinion, that is what Harry and Meghan are, very narcissistic, and they believe they're victims, but in actuality, they are the bullies and the perpetrators themselves. So what do you guys think of all these royal stories? Are you excited about Valentine Low's upcoming book? And do you plan to buy it? Do you believe that Meghan Markle was planning to modernize the royal family, or do you think she wanted to monetize it? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please be sure to go over and check out my website as well as my other social media accounts. If you're not aware, I do have a Patreon membership that's only $3 a month, where I'm going to share more exclusive content over there. And I also have an Amazon storefront where I jam-pack some fun goodies for you to look at. So as always, guys, I thank you for stopping by the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.